This is my last video addressing Giant Man and addressing like just drama in general in the toy community and like how the community is split into two, where I stand in it and where I think I'm gonna continue to stand in it. Disclaimer, the title says Toy Topics. This is a rant video. You know what I'm saying? 95% of my other videos on my channel are positive, cheerful reviews. Go watch a cheerful video if that's what you need right now. Don't be in the comments here crying about how you didn't want to hear this. Chances are you're a grown-ass man. Stop playing victim. You chose to watch it. You're telling you up front, leave now. If you're a man-child keyboard warrior who thinks anything short of praise for Hasbro is toxic. Well, hello there. Welcome to an episode of Toy Topics. This is where I just speak my mind on action figure related topics, since I really can't do that during my reviews. So let's try not to be soft and sensitive bitch-ass collectors. This is just my opinion, how I feel about certain things. And you can share how you feel as well in the comments below. I read and I like every single one, as long as you're not insulting or attacking anyone. And I reply as much as I can. I'm not here to change how anyone feels. I'm just speaking about how I feel. It's a wonderful time to collect these toys. A wonderful time to collect and enjoy. But if we look into my mind, what toy topics will we find? There is no turning back once I get this started, so I do want to say first off, shout out to all of my channel members that have joined the Articulated Ninja Clan. I appreciate that you guys appreciate me trying to keep it real and just being myself. I appreciate you guys, man. There's nothing more to say. If you want to join the channel, if you value my opinion and what I'm bringing to the table, link in the description below to become a channel member. So let's get right into this. If you missed it, the 3POA show that I was a guest on was entertaining to say the least. I don't regret anything that I said, but in regards to my Giant Man video, 90% of people liked it and understood where I was coming from. The other 10% will always not understand, which is okay, that's fine too. But it did make me say to myself, maybe I could have worded things better and more clearly. So I'll do that here, while getting straight to the point. So when I talk about grown men being dramatic, this is a prime example of exactly what I'm talking about. Poro Taino says, I normally do not write reviews, but I feel like someone needs to say something to you before you further into Barbie's Rage versus Hasbro. I really like your reviews and you make dope videos, but ever since you joined Barbie's crew, there's a bias that got to me. Listen, I'm not saying that you were wrong. I'm not a Hasbro loyalist. You and Barbie's crew actually make good points. I agree with like 80 to 95% of what you say about Hasbro, but you keep on going and going. We get it. I feel like instead of talking about toys, you need to focus on hating Hasbro. They are not great at all, but I don't need to keep watching video after video just bashing them. You can make your very valid point and move on. Engine of V was 100% crap and nobody should blank, and he continued to do that. But look, so here's me making a very valid point right now and moving on. The key things here is he keeps saying I go on and on and on, right? But the truth is I don't. That's just you being dramatic. I really want to say thank you to Robert's Infinite Realms, because I try to throw numbers at these people because they're so dramatic. And an example of numbers is Robert threw some numbers at him because clearly Robert watches majority of my content. So he's not going to click a video and then cry and be dramatic about it and pretend that one video is majority of my content. He's not going to do that. So Robert goes on to say he actually went back 3 months on my channel and there's 4 out of 15 videos that I actually mentioned Hasbro, and 2 of those videos were positive and the other 2 were neutral. Robert's closing statement is, I mean, to bash Hasbro quote unquote all the time sure doesn't seem to be that frequent is all I'm saying. Yo, shout out and thank you to Robert, because clearly if I am positive with Hasbro in 5 videos, the second that I make one negative video, all of a sudden all I do is bash Hasbro. People cannot take criticism towards Hasbro at all. When they put out shit and in my opinion, I want to call it shit, it's like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. Even when the numbers don't support their conclusions, they still swear that all I do is hate on Hasbro. It's hilarious. But thank you, Robert, for trying to be reasonable and actually looking at what I actually put out on my channel. Thank you. Or we have this guy who's usually in my comments upset about my opinion when I'm not praising Hasbro. Dang, you tried really hard to hate on this. Why can't you just say this was a good offering for HasLab? Instead, you twisted it into a bad thing. I just don't get all this hater mindset. Kwame, who's a regular on my channel to try to argue and debate with me. I don't know if he wants to change my mind, but he accuses me of just being a hater. He accuses, for all the people like this that just accuse me of hate speech, basically. Even though I made it clear that the figure looks good, it's just definitely did not need to be crowdfunded and could have been a little bit cheaper, but I don't even want to focus on the price. The figure looks good, but there's no way in hell, for me personally, in my opinion, this was worthy of a damn crowdfund. Analog Toys did an amazing job in just 7 minutes breaking down why to him personally this was not crowdfund worthy either. But guys, I'm gonna take my time, grab some popcorn. We're just gonna sit back and chill throughout this video. The Hasbros, they're stressing texture because I keep calling it a blank 22-inch Spider-Man buck. So every time I call it a blank buck, they're like, oh, it's not blank, it has texture. People saying it has texture. Well, Valor revealed texture really doesn't cost much. Not to mention, this isn't nothing new. Majority of the MCU figures have texture. Check any MCU Ant-Man, Black Panther, etc. Even the MCU women have texture. So next up, the Legends team wants to highlight so bad the hands and the toe joint, since there's literally nothing else to highlight about this figure. So regarding those hands, look guys, my Sentinel can do the same exact thing. Nothing new here. They didn't have to really show or focus or highlight this on the Sentinel and Galactus because they didn't have to reach to make it look good. It had a light or brand new sculpt, way better add-ons. It was way more unique as a whole. Then this, of course they're going to stress the hands here. The texture, not unique. The toe joint is unique at this size, but not in general. Even the sculpt and the buck, not unique. It's not so different from the stuff we see all the time here in a smaller scale. Sentinel or brand new sculpt, never seen before, totally unique. Same for Galactus. With the lights, add on the flickering lights. And this is why a blank textured body shouldn't have to be crowdfunded, because it's nothing special. Once again, the mission statement said by Hasbro for the first HasLab ever said it's to bring to life dream projects that otherwise we would not be able to get as fans. How is a standard Marvel Legends blown up by 4 times the size a dream project? This should have just been listed as a new thing, like an extra deluxe figure. That's what this should have been listed as. Not a crowdfunding project. I had a few people tell me, hey, you should check out the ACBA podcast. They did a good job at explaining some crowdfunding stuff. I have nothing against those guys. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go check it out. Maybe they gave up some more valuable information, but I wasn't gonna sit there for 2 hours or an hour and a half. So I skipped to the exact part that I want to hear, them talking about this project. And here's what I hear.
And why it needs to be like that. No, Hasbro's a billion-dollar company. They don't need to crowdfund some shit, but it's a safe way for them to know the units that need to be made and not like take a big gamble putting some shit out at retail that, you know, they made X amount of units of that don't sell or that go to clearance or whatever the case may be. It's a win-win for Hasbro and for us as the consumer, you know?
Yeah, and not just that, but you know, just another thing too. One thing I learned just from watching, you know, TV shows where things are pitched or they talk about, you know, how figures are being made. The big thing with selling at these stores like Target and Walmart and Toys R Us is space is everything. And sometimes these companies just want nothing to do with a fucking figure that's 2 feet tall being on a shelf. You know, it's just something they don't want a lot of the time. Like the more weirdly sized your box is, or you know, larger, they just don't want it.
Yeah, that's why swimming pools at Walmart always go on clearance for $100 because the boxes are so huge and like this.
So I'm not surprised about anything that I hear. I didn't hear nothing new and nothing crazy. You guys can go check for yourself. And I don't have nothing against any of those guys. I just don't agree with them. This isn't a hit piece. This isn't to go bother them. And them and their followers and their supporters are totally allowed to believe that if that's what they want to believe. Over here, it's the same thing. Likewise, over here, me and the majority of my supporters, and we don't worry about what's safe for Hasbro, the billion-dollar biggest action figure company in the world.
Hasbro's a billion-dollar company. They don't need to crowdfund some shit, but it's a safe way for them to know the units that need to be made and not like take a big gamble.
Over here on this side, we don't care about what is a big gamble for the billion-dollar company. We don't care about risk mitigation for the billion-dollar company. We don't care about what's easier for the billion-dollar company. We prioritize what's best for the customer, because I'm a customer. I'm not calling nobody over there in AB. I'm not calling nobody out of their names. I'm just stating a clear difference. While they may feel like crowdfunding is actually beneficial towards the customers, I feel like it's harmful towards the customers unless we're really talking about some type of product that is out the realm of possibility for general release. It sounds like these guys are talking about crowdfunding in general. And yes, if we're talking about crowdfunding in general for independent people, artists, mom and pop shops, yes, what you're saying about crowdfunding makes 100% sense. But when you're talking about the billion-dollar company that knows damn well people wanted these products for over 10 years and have been asking for them for over 10 years, it just sounds like you're releasing a press statement on behalf of that company, because they know how it looks. They know they have the resources to produce these things on their own. And I'm also not saying that that group in that podcast, the AB podcast, that they only care about the corporation. That's not what I'm saying either. But clearly, multiple of them, in their own words, take time to consider what's easier, what's not a gamble, and on behalf of Hasbro. I don't care about that. I don't care about what's easier for Hasbro. The business is supposed to make a good and desirable product. Customer buys it, customer's happy if the product is good, and the cycle repeats itself. When did it become a norm for the customer to understand or have empathy or worry about risk mitigation for the billion-dollar company? Worry about what's a gamble for them? When did that become a norm? Because it seems like we're getting effed over with us worrying about that. They need to worry about that, not us. McFarlane could have easily crowdfunded that Batwing, could have easily crowdfunded a Batmobile for $199.99. A bunch of companies could do stuff like this. Valor could have easily crowdfunded the truck. He knew it was going to sell, but why crowdfund something when you know it's going to sell? You know you're going to at least be able to sell a minimum order of units. Let's stop pretending that these desirable Marvel Legend characters that people have begged for a decade are risk and gambles for a company. People have been clamoring for them for over a decade. Let's stop it. Let's stop pretending. They also mentioned on that podcast, hey, the box and retail space and retail size, and hey, okay, that may be how they feel. In my world, in my reality, there's tons of boxes currently right now sitting in a toy aisle that are bigger. Also, not to mention, are we going to pretend that the box it comes in needed to be 2 feet or bigger? We're going to pretend it couldn't be inside the box like a Build-A-Figure? The box didn't need to be 2 feet or bigger. In a private video for my members, I just opened up a Bronchiosaurus that's almost 3.5 feet tall on its hind legs that was in a box that was smaller than Giant Man because it was in the box in pieces like a Build-A-Figure. I can understand why that podcast and other content creators and people in the comments, why they justify crowdfunding. But even when they justify crowdfunding, they just talk about the term in general by definition. They're not actually looking at what are the types of items this company, this billion-dollar company, is trying to give us through crowdfunding. Is it really a risk for them to do these products? Something like the Danger Room would be a risk. I don't see that pop up on a lot of live streams. I don't see people asking for a Danger Room, and that's way more risky than mainstay characters like Galactus, army builders like a Sentinel, and a mainstay Avengers team member like Giant Man. Stop it. Come on, man. Let's stop playing pretend. Classified was literally on fire. And it's like, well, we don't know if his tank would sell. Let's do it through crowdfunding. Stop the bullshit. Let's stop pretending as adults. And let's stop sounding like we work for the company when we don't. It's like echoes of people just repeating what the person on salary says. And then you can wonder why certain people in the community get called shills. Of course you get called a shill when you literally sound like you're releasing a press statement on behalf of the damn company. It's going to get to the point where every single thing is crowdfunded, even standard figures. This way, they can remove risk and take risk off the table for absolutely everything in the company. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets to that point in the future. Literally, you can laugh at it now, but I would not be surprised because they're already seeing that people are accepting this, and not only accepting it, people are worried about them taking a risk and what's a gamble for them, like their employees when they're not. What the f have things come to? I can completely understand as a customer or as a fan of a line, understanding them not wanting to take an unnecessary risk, or there really being a question mark out there on if something would sell. These things are not question marks. Galactus, the Sentinel, Giant Man, these are not question mark worthy, aka crowdfund worthy. There is no risk here for them. They know a certain amount is going to move, and then the molds get locked away forever. How is that what's best for the customer? Let's not pretend these things as rational, logical adults. Sometimes I feel like I'm watching like an episode of Bear in a Big Blue House or like Roly Poly Oly, where everybody gets together and says, hey, let's pretend they knew they would move at least 5 to 10K units minimum. You move 5K units, they sell out. You can order another 5K units. You have the molds and everything already done. You can order it again. And one of the worst things about crowdfunding that I see nobody actually take the time to bring up is that they're locking away molds. Thank God crowdfunding did not exist years ago, because years ago we got a 16-inch Marvel Universe Sentinel in 3 different colors with lights and sounds. Ours didn't even get sound. Cheap ass soundboard. We didn't even get that. How many colors are we getting the HasLabs Sentinel in? Can anybody let me know? When are they gonna re-release that? We got an ETA on that anytime soon? No, because the molds and everything are locked behind HasLab. So how is this so great for people again? Marvel Legends are known as the repaint kings. We're not getting repaints of any of these projects, at least based on what they said, is that they will not be released again. Stop repeating and believing what the employees on salary of the company are saying. Put yourself in the perspective in the shoes of a customer. How is this actually beneficial to the customer? We will never get this giant man again in another color, in another costume, and this mold will just be locked away behind the BS title of a HasLab. I would have liked a MCU movie Ant-Man this size. They could have used this exact body and just repainted it and sculpted a new head. Same exact body, same exact hands, same exact torso, everything. But no, that's not going to happen. Or let me guess, guys. Is that when people will finally start to wake up? Is when they have to crowdfund Ant-Man on the same exact body with a different head? Or how is this what's best for the customer? Especially when they're not even damn dream projects. The sail barge was a dream project. Everybody, because this isn't, I'm not just addressing the AB podcast. This is everyone. Let's stop playing pretend. Let's stop pretending that the company had no idea that people would want this or this is such a huge risk for them. No, it's not. Like Analog Toys mentioned in his video, they could have simply had a piece of plastic that shows giant man morphing upwards. That's it. What is the cost on this? It's literally just a piece of plastic that just goes upwards. That's it. Just something simple and cheap like that would have been way better than faceplates. I think everybody would rather this than multiple weird face expressions. I'm sure a lot of people would have liked this. I can't make this shit up. Yo, guess who designed this morphing effect? This nigga. Yo, this this is all just so, this is hilarious to me, bro. Honestly, it might sound like I'm annoyed or no, but this shit is just, it's genuinely funny to me. How many people play pretend and how many people worry about the company or what's best for the, yo, this whole shit is hilarious. Oh shit, I can't make this shit up. And something more ironic and funny is look at the name of the person donating to them. Because obviously they're praising it. They're saying, hey, crowdfunding makes sense and here's why. And look at the name of the guy. That's Kwame. That's the same person that's continuously on my channel, usually having some negative shit to say when I disagree regarding Hasbro. And I'm not saying they sent him at all. The AB guys seem like pretty level-headed guys that wouldn't do some dumb shit like that. The same way I would never send anybody or condone any of my people going over there and bothering them. No wonder you're in a ton of my videos crying about my opinion because you relate to opinions over there and I don't. Don't stress yourself out here, buddy. Stay over there.
That's a great idea.
But back to this thought process, because I'm not attacking the AB guys, and a lot of people think like that and a lot of people think against it. Or a lot of people think an opposite of it. I would be in that category. So I'm just speaking to the people that actually do believe crowdfunding is what's best for the customer. And they are worried about what risk and gambles the billion-dollar company has to make.
Why?
Of course, one half of me hears that type of logic. And the first thing I just think of is,
shut the fuck up for once.
But then the other half of me is really like, no, people actually believe this. They actually believe this is great. A billion-dollar business that doesn't have to gamble or take risk. And, you know, molds that get locked behind a crowdfunding that we never get to see again. Like there's actually people that believe this. And then I ask myself, does this really make sense?
No.
And let me make this clear one more time. I'm not hating on any AB member. I have nothing against what they have going on for them over there. That is great. We just clearly don't agree on this Hasbro crowdfunding. And this is a good example for anybody that thinks like this. And I'm willing to change my mind based on new information. All the information I gather and that I see from my perspective, this shit is trash. especially when they're crowdfunding basic figures like this now and putting the hand in the same pose that the last 2 figures they crowdfunded could easily do as well. Some of those AB guys seem really cool. Shout out to Al Figures. Like, I got respect for that guy. There's a few of them that I do have respect for, but I didn't talk shit about anyone over there. We just disagree. And it's fair use to just use it as an example of the thought process that I see echoing throughout that side of the community, especially when I have so many people that think like them coming over here and saying things to me like, why can't you just admit this is a good project? Do you see now why, Kwame, I can't admit that this is a good project? Because genuinely to me, it's not.
This motherfucker don't miss.
And crowdfunding isn't in general, especially when it's for basic shit like this with sucky accessories.
No, he's fucking good.
And molds that get locked away that we never get an opportunity again, no repaints or nothing.
In the heat of battle, he don't miss.
No.
And how the major corporation uses FOMO in the most perfect way against us when it comes to the crowdfunding model.
In the heat of controversy, he don't miss.
No.
Yeah, a good offering from HasLab, the same people that put out the sail barge, the same people whose mission statement was to bring us dream projects. Yeah, Kwame or anybody with this thought process, you're not going to get me to say that this was a good offering for a crowdfunding project. But if it would have been a regular pre-order for just $150 or $180 on a website that they put up money for tooling and everything, I think this would have been a win to everybody. I think everybody would have praised that. The community's divided. Sure, it sucks, but clearly it has to be this way if that's the type of logic that's on that side. I don't want to be on that side that worries or considers about mitigating risk for the billion-dollar company. Or they worry or they think that the company really won't be able to move 6 to 10K units of this product that people have been clamoring for over a decade. I mean, maybe they actually really do believe that. I'm not on that side. And I honestly, unless you're an employee, which I don't think any of them are, it doesn't make sense for any customer to be on that side. Because long term, there's more negatives for us than upfront positives. It's so silly and stupid that so many people want to act positive when everyone's in agreement with them, when they're all echoing the same rhetoric, but then the second someone disagrees, it's hate speech. They're toxic. Bro, these are grown-ass men talking and acting like this. That shit is, to me personally, it's mad feminine. And I love a balance of femininity and masculinity. That shit is mad feminine coming from a grown-ass man. Calling another grown man toxic, or that sounds like a girl talking about her ex. And even though it sucks, things are divided and the community's divided when it comes to certain things, we all agree we love action figures. And I think for the most part, we all agree, I don't want Marvel Legends to end or Hasbro or Classified. And no, I just want these companies to do better. But it's hard to get them to do better when people are praising their bare minimum. And being that I'm disagreeing and not talking shit, I hope none of the AB members are stupid enough to comment on any of my shit or send me a message and ask me if I feel threatened by them.
Oh, shiver my timbers. Shut up.
Because it's happened to others. Bruh, that would not be a good idea. Like, that is a fucking poor decision to make. I don't live in Australia. I'm in New York as well. And I'm always at a ton of conventions. So you feeling friendly, anybody can always walk up and say hi, because I don't hide. The mask is literally just a fun aesthetic choice.
I'm with whatever. Like, I'm with it all.
Anyways, I got tons of friends that are getting this thing. X-Manny, Laser Pants, M Vargo, and I'm happy. I'm happy that they're getting it. The figure looks good to me as well, but in my opinion, this isn't crowdfund worthy at all. I hate that Hasbro took something they knew everyone wanted and acted like it was a risk or a gamble for them. They did just that once again and made it a crowdfund because, let's say it together, class, that's what's safe for them. And shout out to Soku, who made a really good point in my comments. It says, I think this is as good of a deal as we're gonna get from Hasbro. I think that's what it is for me too. Since I know it's as good of a deal that we're gonna get from them, I feel like I'm more inclined to say that this is good, and that sucks. Like, that doesn't even make me feel good. It doesn't feel good. It's like you got a girl that cheats on you 24/7, right? And then she stopped for a few years, and then you find out she cheated once. It's like, it's not that bad. It used to be way worse, you know? But like, I feel like somewhere inside of me it's true. Like, since I know this is the best they're gonna be able to do at this price and this size, it's like I'm forced to kind of appreciate it. And shout out to Big Bacon. This name always makes me laugh when I see this shit. But in essence, he said, we increased the size 4 times and increased the price 8 times. Yeah, that seems pretty accurate. But yo, shout out to all my channel members that are consistently holding me down. I appreciate y'all. Link in the description below if you want to join. But like, this was a fun ass rant. This was a fun rant. At times I get annoyed, but overall this is fun. It's just some shit to laugh at. Like I always say, guys, life is short. Too short to be worried about this, but I do have to take a step back sometimes and just examine it, acknowledge it, and then can laugh at it and just keep moving because it is fucking hilarious. Appreciate you guys. Peace. Hey, so it's funny. I thought I was about to be done with this rant that was long but fun for me to do and to talk about. But on that same channel, on that same podcast, the founder of AB Book posted a video and said, hey, don't use him for clout or clickbait. And I agree with that. I don't think that anybody should use them for clout or clickbait. I think that that's wrong. I don't think this applies to me though. And that's the issue here. See, this is what happens. You have like this discrepancy and there's a lot of gray area when you want to direct something towards someone without actually directing something towards someone. It creates a lot of space for people to message me like they have been and say, hey, Book's talking about you. You know, I check the comments to the video. People in the comments like, hey, he's talking about Articulated Ninja. Guys, I highly fucking doubt it. I highly doubt it. But at least get in the comments and let people know that you're not. Otherwise, if you are, then say that you are. I'm sure he has his people that he's talking to and shit like that. And the same way, if I wanted to come for him, I would come for him. This video was me specifically talking about their crowdfunding logic. How I feel about him as a person. I don't know him personally and I don't care to. It doesn't even matter because this video was mainly me talking about crowdfunding. And that's why I said I highly doubt he's talking about me. And if he was, he could make that shit clear in a multitude of ways. But for me personally, I don't say things without saying things. I don't leave people in my comments guessing who I'm talking about. No, I say directly who I'm talking about. But guys, that's just the way I choose to do things. It doesn't make any other way wrong or right. This is just my way. And at least how I feel, and I highly doubt he's talking about me, and it wouldn't make any sense to be talking about me. I don't care about that most recent video because I'm not using that channel, podcast, or him or anybody over there for clout. I can't. I literally can't. When if you look at the numbers on average, my channel is bigger. I have more views. I have more engagement. They might have more subscribers than me because they've been doing it consistently for longer, but that doesn't matter. Look at the views and engagement and comments, and on average, my channel is bigger. So I'm not using them for clout. That's not what I want at all. Plus, I don't want clout. I don't want more of their people coming over to my side to be upset at me about my opinion when it's so different from theirs over there. And that's fine. It's okay to have a different opinion. And he spoke about in his video, channels that are just negative all the time. Bro, 90% or more of my videos are just straight positive. So clearly my shoe don't fit. It don't fit. So nobody needs to message me or ask me, hey, he's talking about you. If he is, that's fucking stupid. That's just straight up dumb. So I'm 100% not worried about it at all. Instead of messaging me, get him to specifically say who he's talking about. That burden of proof is not placed on me. It's placed on the person making those accusations. Like I said, over here, when I'm talking about somebody, I specifically say who I'm talking about. And I'm not leaving none of my fans or supporters in the comments to guess who I'm talking about. I interact with people. I'm there, bro. Like, I'm boots on the ground. I'm there and I'm being direct all the time, 24/7. This shit was fun. I hope y'all had fun watching this fun ass rant. Comment down below. Let me know how you feel. Crowdfunding is not always bad, but when a $1 billion company like this does it for weak items like this, yeah, they're 100%. In my opinion, this shit trash. G.I. Joe, classified, Marvel Legends on my mind, Valaverse and NECA time, Mythic Legions I must find, SH Figure Arts I can't lie, Rebel Tech got my pockets dry, Set Action Figures for life, Articulated Ninja is nice, yeah, you might wanna subscribe, Action